You may know about the extensive list of reports available in Availability Workbench, but do you know just how easy it is to customize those reports to meet your specific needs? In this video, we will show you how to turn this spares prediction report into a custom report that may better suit your needs, like the one you see on the screen now. The first thing to do is to find a report like the one you want to build. In this case, we will use the RCM Cost Spares Predictions report. You must switch the report to design mode and save it with a new name. Go to the summary page and make any modifications that you desire. You could change the report name, add an author's name, and write a brief description of what the report is about. Click on the Apply button and save your changes. Next, you will want to set up the page size, orientation, and margins. You can see there's a wide variety of sizes to select one from. Just use whatever size makes most sense for how you want the report to lay out. Most of the time in the US, letter works, but obviously you can change to the A sizes for European if you desire. You can select the orientation. We're going to leave it in landscape mode, and you can set the left, right, top, and bottom margins of the system. Click Apply and save your changes. Now you can start making changes to which queries and fields you want to have in the report. For this report, we're going to remove a couple of fields that we don't care to see in our final report. So we're using the standard spares query as a starting point, and we will go through and look at the different fields that are checked as the ones that are in the report. So we've got the ID, the description, and several cost fields that have been selected. There's the RCM purchase cost, the RCM corrective number. When you see the CW, that means a frequency and a number. The RCM number recycled, we're not really going to want to see that in our last report, so we'll take that recycled out of there. We do want to know how much we've spent on parts. We want to know how many were used for planned maintenance. We don't usually have, you may have repaired spares. If you do, leave that field in. If you don't care to see what was spent on the repaired spares, then take that field out. Storage costs are usually calculated based on the carrying charges and applied to the fee, and we want to know how much it cost us to own these parts over time. Then we've got the total cost and the total number of spares used. So we've taken a couple of fields out. We didn't use types in this project, so we'll take the types out as well. Then we'll apply that, and we can see the changes that were made to the report. You can now see that we have just the ID, the description, items used, and the cost for the items. Made them. Next, you will want to make changes to the headers and footers. Again, make sure to save the report once you have made those changes. There are some good things we can do with the headers. Just some general stuff there. We can make it visible or not visible. We can add some text. So let's say we'll just put in something like, what about the header for now? And we'll apply it with the settings that are already there. In this case, it's set up to go to the upper right-hand corner. So for the location, we got a height. For alignment, we've got right top. You could change that to be left top. And you can see it'll move it over to the left-hand side. I don't typically add anything to the header, but this is where you can do that if you desire to. You can again set the margins. You can set the font for the header that you want to use, so you can change the header size, do whatever you want for that. Set the border size and whether or not it shows on the left, right, and all that. You may want to change the thickness of the border to something that makes it stand out a little more. And you may want to put a background in it. So you can change to a solid background, change the color to maybe a light blue. We'll change it to light blue and apply that. And now you've got a light blue color. We'll take the text back out. Apply that. Now you may, when it comes to the footer, add some text to the footer if you like. They've got plenty of information there, but if you want to put something more, that's fine. You can talk about what the height of it is, what the alignment will be. Are you going to add that to the left, center, or right? Will it be the top or the bottom? Is it going to be angled in any way? What are the margins of the thing? What font are you going to use? Again, if you want to change the size of the border, you can do that. You can change its fill. You can also select whether it's visible or not, just like the other. So lots of things you can do to change the headers and footers in the report. We'll click Apply again and save these. The next thing you'll want to do is make any changes to the column headings that you would like to see. And this is some places where you can make a change. Say you want to change ID to your, say, store's part number or drawing part number or something like that. You can also change the alignment of the headers within the text. So we'll take a look at changing a couple of these. You see we've got much the same choices we had going across with the header and the footer. Let's change the justification to the center, and we'll change the text on these from ID to store's part number. Leave the location where it is. We've got the alignment set for the center now. Won't make any changes in the margin. We won't change the font, border, or fill. So if you want to have colored fill in these blocks, especially if you want to highlight, well, this is an important block or important column, then you can change the fill. So we'll go across and change these to the way we want them. Go to description, change the alignment on it to the center. Leave the rest of it the same. So now we've got those column headers centered up. Click apply, save those changes to the headers. Now we want to make changes to the information contained in the columns. Here is where we can change the sort order, filter out unwanted data, and make the numbers look the way we want them to look. So let's expand on the columns. We'll go to ID. We'll say, okay, the sort order is fine for that. It's in ascending order. That may be exactly the way we want to look at it. In a little bit, we'll see that we might want to look at it in a different way. Again, you've got the column width all set. The alignment, where does this number appear in the column? It can be on the left, center, or right, and it can be in the top, center, or bottom of the box. It just depends on how you want it to look when you get done. Again, you can set the font, the border, the fill, the format for the numbers, and the filter and sort. So we've got a sort set up already. This is set in ascending order on this particular column. So for the description, not going to make much change here. We've got some blank ones, but don't worry about that. The alignment is fine. But we're going to want to change the alignment for the numbers in these columns over here. So let's change the alignment for the numbers. So we want to get these numbers to appear in the center. Okay, so now we've got all of our values over in the center. The next thing we want to do is make sure that we've got the numbers set up in the format we want them, and also get rid of things where we didn't use any or didn't have any cost. So let's go to this total cost column, and we'll take out those that are zero cost over the life. We don't care about those. So we'll set a filter. We'll say we want only those things that have a value greater than 0, and apply that. So now we've got the numbers, at least only the numbers that we want to have in the item. So now let's go back and look at these numbers and change the format of the number to make more sense. Okay, so we'll look at the font. I'm sorry, the format. We'll set a custom format. This says custom G4. We'll change that format to match this because it's the number of items. So now you can see it's down to 1 decimal place there. Same thing here. So now we're getting it down. So we're not saying we use parts down to the 1,000th of a part. We don't really care about that. Now let's go back and look at our cost. We want to get that into a currency format. So we'll change that to currency. So now you can see we've changed the format of the columns. The only thing we've got left to do is to change the order the columns are in, because we don't want to have those columns be where they are at the moment. So let's go back now and get these columns in the order we want them. We'll go select the query again, and we'll go to Position Query Columns, and then we'll select the columns that we want to move around. First, let's get the corrective purchase cost up by the corrective number used. So we'll select corrective purchase cost, move it up using the Move Up button to next to the corrective purchase cost. We've got the planned purchase cost or planned purchase number, and we want the planned purchase cost next to those. We want the RCM storage cost, and we want the total number of parts used to be moved up ahead of the total cost. So we'll move it up, we'll click Apply, and now we've got these columns in the order we want them. Of course, that's the order I want them. You may want them in a different order. That's up to you. You can use the text boxes menu to change the appearance of the various text boxes that are shown on the screen and shown in the report. We'll look at just a couple of those to give you some idea of what you can do. So here for the date shows up in the lower right-hand corner. Maybe you want it in the lower left-hand corner, so you change its alignment from right to left. Change its vertical position from bottom to top. And once you apply that, you can see that it changes its location in the box. Let's put it back the way it was because it was fine. But the point is, you can change these, and you can also change whether or not they show up. So do we want it to show on all pages? Do we want the date to be on all pages? Or do we just want it on the first page? When we apply that, then the date only shows up on the first page. Typically best to have all these text boxes show on all the pages in my estimation, so that everything remains constant, and so that everybody knows that report is that report, and that you don't get pages mixed up from other reports. But you can see that by filtering this report, we've reduced the number of pages down to 2 of those things that we were really interested in. So you can make any number of changes to any one of these text boxes. You can change the font. You can change the fill of the text box. So let's say that you want the page number to be highlighted maybe in a different color. So we'll change the fill for that box to a solid fill, and we'll make it yellow to make it stand out. See if we can find a bright yellow. We'll make it gold. There we go. Click OK. Now that text box will show up as gold, so you can see the page number very easily. So that's how we change these text boxes. You just select on that menu. You can also add or remove a picture. Here they've got the logo. So maybe you don't want that logo, and maybe you don't want that logo on every page. That's up to you, but you can select your custom logo. So I'll go select my custom logo. So I can select that. And then I can start making changes to where that logo is. So we'll move that logo maybe over to the right hand side. Look at the size for it. It'll show on all pages. We'll apply it. Now you can see the BKR logo on the report. And we'll get it moved over all the way to the right. Get it over here where we want it. And now I've got my custom logo on there. You can also go and change your text styles, but we're not going to go into that today. So let's take one last look at this report and see how it looks to us in full view. So we'll change the view to reading mode to get the full report up there on the screen. And we can see this is a report that we like. This is nice, concise, short, easy to read. And again, you can modify this report any way you want it. If you need more column width in a certain column, it's easy to change those column widths. So this is where you can make a difference in your report and make your report fit your needs. Thank you for attending today's webinar. I hope today's webinar helps you improve the reports that you get out of Availability Workbench and maybe makes your life a little bit easier. If you want more information, visit www.isograph.com or contact Brett Peterson at 801-610-0045 or at his email bpeterson@isograph.com. Thank you for attending this webinar.